Hi everyone, here's another super short quick tutorial to help you along the way. With our first actual project, all we're looking for is for you to do a drawing that represents both the negative and the positive space. It sounds complicated, but it really isn't. So for example, I'm just going to I've got a TV remote right here. So in this case, if I was drawing the remote, all parts of it, top, bottom, left, right, this would be our positive space, the object, and then the background, anything else would be the negative space. So it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. It sounds like scientific, but really it's object versus not object. That's all there is to it. And if you have a stack of objects, here's another TV clicker. You can tell where I'm sitting nearby, right? Here's another one. So now I've got a stack of these objects. So the clicker 1 and clicker 2 all are my positive space, all of it. And anything that's not the TV clickers is my negative space. So for example, if I was going to do, I'm just going to set these aside here real quick. If I was going to do a drawing of these TV remotes, right? If I was going to do a drawing of these TV remotes, I would just kind of think about where they are located, right? So for example, let's just tilt this a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to think about the edges, literally the outlines, right? I'm thinking about the edges of these objects. But what's nice is, as I'm drawing, I'm going to shift this up here. As I'm drawing, I'm trying to think of the actual degree, right? So if this, let's say, is a straight line, right? What is that degree right there to get that angle, this straight angle right there, right? So maybe I'm making this up. Let's say that's like a 20-degree angle. It's certainly not, I'm no math teacher. But I can kind of get that angle, or I can literally copy it. Here's how you copy it. Extend your arm all the way, super stretched out, okay? Literally line up your drawing implement. You can use charcoal, you could use like a pencil, doesn't really matter. Literally line it up, make sure your arm is fully extended, and then you can just bring that on down to your paper, right? And just like that, that's the angle that we wanted, right? Now, I messed up my still life there, but you get the general idea. So let's just do that real quick. Watch. Okay. Line, fully extend the arm. If you don't, then, it could wiggle wobble back and forth. We want to fully extend the arm. Get that, bring it on down, place. I'm just going to literally trace, because why not, right? Let's get this angle right here for the back end. Bring it on down, and let's trace. Now, you don't literally need to trace every time, right? So for example, let's get the top line just about there, bring it on down. Now watch, I'm just going to draw kind of a rough estimation. Now I've got two objects in my still life here. You can kind of see I messed that up. There you go. I've got two objects, so I'm going to draw the first one, the first TV remote, first, as if the one on top doesn't even exist. Look at that. Okay. Then the next one we're going to do, let's just overlap those. Can I get this angle here? Should be parallel, just like in my last video. If it's scribbly, who cares? We're just getting a rough estimation here. Okay. Now the last thing that we want to incorporate before we totally finish this up is something called comparative measurement. Now we'll talk much more about this later in the semester, but basically I want to take the end of my pencil, kind of stretch my thumb down, and I'm going to use this as a measurement to compare one to another. So for example, my Roku remote here, from the tip to the top here, bottom to top right there, it's about that length from where my fingers are to the top of the pencil. Now if I compare that to my normal TV remote, right, I got the bottom and the top, and this is my Roku remote, remember, and that only comes just a little bit beyond halfway. Just a little beyond halfway there, right? So if that's the case, right, I want to make sure to find a way to represent this here, where it's all to scale. So I know that the Roku remote is a little bit more than halfway, right? So let's just kind of round this out here. My still life's messed up again, sorry about that. Come on, there we go, okay. So let's kind of finish this off. I'm going to finish off the Roku remote. I'm going to use this measurement that I've made, and I'm going to copy it. We got the same measurement, right? And you could take your pencil, it's probably more precise, right? Tip to my fingers. Take that, and I want to find the middle, or a little bit off the middle, right there. So the actual TV remote should come that far out. See why I did that? Because that's a little bit above middle. And take my measurement, copy it, and it should come a little bit further out as well. So now the Roku remote is in proper scale to the actual TV remote. As for all these extra little lines, we don't need these, we just get rid of those, right? And now to make it a positive and negative space picture, I'm just gonna erase all this overlapping. Apologies for the wiggling of my camera. All that overlapping, so it's just the literal outline. And then I just color it in. I mean, just like you did when you were in, grade school, right? So I'm gonna use fine charcoal because that's a little bit easier. So let's go ahead, I'm just gonna use the side here. And color in. You could use pencil, fine charcoal, whatever you want. But really we're just looking for the outline. Now my Roku remote is a little rounded, so let's round that edge. A little bit more detail, almost like that silhouette, like a white silhouette, if you will. Just kind of fill it in. If you don't color the entire background, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, right? Just not that worried about it. This is much more about getting the concept of knowing where your objects are. Now this might seem kind of simple at first, as in, how is this helping me draw something more realistic, right? But I promise, as you go further along, knowing where your objects are and knowing how to differentiate them in your mind compared to the background is really going to be a helpful skill to have. Now let's take one last look here. See how I can see the top and the side. Look how it kind of has a little trapezoid here on the end. Let's mimic that. So it's going to come down just a little bit. Kind of comes in just a little bit, doesn't it? Out and in. Kind of comes down this way. And that's about it, right there. Let's color that in. Now this is fine charcoal, of course. I could kind of smudge the background and really finish it off if I wanted to. If you're using pencil, of course, I would suggest using the side of the pencil rather than trying to color up and down. Always try to use the side of your pencil, it makes things easier. But this is it. Literally, that's your first project right there. We're just looking for the composition, your objects. I think you have to have 3 objects. I'm only using 2 because I've only got 2 TV remotes, which is one too many. So there you go. If you guys have more questions or comments, issues, anything like that, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out along the way, and I'll have more demos coming at you as we get further along in the class. Thanks, guys. Be well. Talk to you soon. Bye.